Are you a health coach or a holistic health professional and you are struggling to get the clients that you want to, or you want to be able to differentiate yourself from the other competition? Maybe you are interested in getting into the health education business and you realize that from weight loss coaching to fitness coaching to health coaching, there's just so much competition out there, and you're like, is it too late? Is it still possible to stand out in this crowded market? Today we're going to be talking about exactly how to stand out in a crowded market for health coaches and holistic health professionals. And contrary to popular belief, you don't need to have a big audience in order to make big money online. In fact, if you learn some of these simple tools that I'm going to share with you, this can help to differentiate you from the competitors. And when you apply these principles and avoid these common mistakes, then it's going to separate you from other people. And you know, the fact that there is a crowded health market, some people see that and they're like, that's why I don't want to enter the health coaching. That's why it doesn't work, or that's not a good idea to pursue. But in reality, a crowded health market is a good sign of a healthy, there's lots of transactions. There's big transactions coming from multiple businesses, multiple clients. That's a sign that there's a lot of business that is taking place. There's a lot of opportunities for you to be able to get a piece of the profit that is so readily available in this multi-billion dollar industry. But the way to do it is by learning how to differentiate yourself in the market and being able to stand out in this capacity. So to illustrate this concept, I like to think about how Bruce Lee said famously once, "I fear not the man that who has practiced 10,000 kicks one time. I fear the man that has practiced one kick 10,000 times." Now, what's really powerful about this is how this is talking about like martial terms, but what about in medical terms? What about in marketing terms? In health, clients aren't looking for a health coach who has done 10,000 different talks or helped with solve 10,000 different health problems or have done 10,000 different health procedures or processes one time. Health clients are looking for a health professional who has who've solved one problem 10,000 times. And there's riches in the niches. It's by learning to specialize your skills, specialize the problem that you're solving in the marketplace that makes you the go-to person in your field. And even if you have a health program or a health message that's able to benefit everyone, that doesn't mean you can market to everyone. You have to identify and pick who are you going to serve. A lot of times, people like to choose to speak to your younger version of you. Like, what is the mentor you wish you had 5 years ago? Or whenever you were a younger version, when you were having more health challenges, what do you know now that you wish you knew before? And let that be your target audience that you're able to serve and help. But a lot of times people, I talk to health coaches who are having a hard time getting more clients or selling their supplements. I'm like, all right, so what do you do? Oh, we help with everything. We help all sorts of things. And it's different for every single person. But the challenge with that is anything that is for everyone is also for no one. So unless you pick who is the profitable person, then it's going to be very difficult. I like the 1 by 1 by 1. You pick one problem one valuable problem you're going to solve for one person, one profitable person that you're going to help, and one program. If you're just getting started, this 1 by 1 by 1 really helps you to clarify the focus and be able to speak to and call out your ideal audience. In fact, there's two different types of, say, health experts that can be. People want to pay for expertise, but there's two different types of health professionals. One is a generalist, and the other is a specialist. But if you'll notice that specialists in every single field throughout the marketplace, they get paid disproportionately more as a specialist than would a generalist. And if you look at a general surgeon is going to get paid far less than someone who's a brain surgeon or a heart surgeon. In fact, I had a friend who was had some gallstones, and she was needed to address them. And so the only way that the healthcare system knows how to handle gallstones is by surgically removing your gallbladder. But the problem with doing that is you won't be able to emulsify oils for the rest of your life. It's going to be very difficult for digestion. And but I didn't know until she was actually in the hospital and she was scheduled and getting ready for surgery. And I visited her as I was. It was unfortunate because there is a 48-hour cleanse that you're able to do that could soften up your gallstones, make them soft like cotton balls that they compress, and you could pass through and eliminate gallstones naturally without surgery and keep your gallbladder. And I wish I knew sooner, because I would have let her know, and I've helped. I've gone through it. I've helped other people go through it, but it was unfortunate. So she goes into the surgery, and because there's a general surgeon there who is, a lot of times they're like practicing, they might have done multiple different procedures only a handful of times. And while this surgeon went to cut her gall duct, he accidentally snipped her liver duct and severed her liver. And that was a oops. But that left her in a very life-threatening condition where she was rushed to a larger city, larger hospital where there could be a specialist who's able to help undo or save from the mistakes that the generalist made. And that specialist was able to connect back together the liver duct that was separated. She almost lost her life. She almost left her children as orphans. It was a very difficult time. Her son was living with us for about a month because of that dire situation that happened because a generalist was practicing. One of the first times I was exposed to this is I had someone who I was helping them with their health, and he was telling me, he's like, I have an issue. I have hemorrhoids, and a very severe case of hemorrhoids. I want a very specific procedure done, and he's like, help me find what is the name of the specialist who specializes on doing this type of surgery and helps with like hemorrhoids. And he explained to me, he's like, would you rather have would you rather have a health professional who's practicing, who maybe done this procedure like 3-5 times in 50 years or in their career, or would you rather have a specialist who's done it 3,000 to 4,000 times the same procedure throughout their 50-year career? It's like, which one would you rather be? Would you rather be like have someone practice on you? Or would you rather have someone who has successful, like thousands of successful procedures under their belt, and that's what they do? It's like, wow, that makes sense. Well, I'd rather have the specialist. And that's when I realized there are specialists on every single category. And whoever chooses to specialize on a particular health challenge, they're going to get the lion's share of the profits for their business. And so that's one of the first things I do when health coaches come to me for marketing, is I help them to narrow down who is your profitable target audience, your profitable person you're going to serve, and then what is a profitable problem you're going to solve, and what is a profitable program that you're going to package your solutions in. And once you get really clear on that, it helps so much of the messaging, the marketing, where you're going to speak at, so much of this gets clarified, and even what you're going to learn, it simplifies a lot. So and then I learned that the one who helps with hemorrhoids and focuses on the butt, nothing but the butt, is called a proctologist. And I didn't know that, but that was very enlightening, and I never forgot that conversation. So, like manner, your clients, your ideal clients who are high-paying health clients are looking for specialists. And the unfortunate thing is, there are cleanses that she can do, or that my friend could do, that could eliminate gallstones. My mother ended up getting gallstones about last year, and it was really painful for her. And she had a pain. When we went to the hospital, get it diagnosed and recognize what the problem is, then we were able to go home and treat it naturally. And she was able to eliminate her gallstones. And we're able to see them pass, and it's natural and it works. And that's exactly what Dr. Marianne Jones does. She is someone that we've worked with in business, and she has a 10-day cleanse where she specializes in removing gallstones, kidney stones, liver stones, and it was inspired by Daniel's 10-day trial in Daniel chapter 1. So she takes people through. She's very highly specialized in her area as the naturopathic doctor. And what happens is, through this cleanse, people go through and they get such powerful, amazing results during these 10 days that they want to go through it later on, or it addresses so many of their challenges, and they want to go invite others. So she becomes very highly sought after. She's booked out. She's got way more people who want to pay her for a program than she has a capacity to be able to handle. But part of it is because she specializes with one program and one problem that she's solving. And she gets consistent referrals. When people go through a program, then they want to take their friend, they share it with their doctor. The doctor's like, this is incredible. How are you getting these turnaround results? And they take her through this program. And she works as she helps bring referrals to our business too, and helps sell some of our supplements. And she's used it as a strategic partner, and recommends it to her clients as well. But this is part of the key. If you want to go from being overlooked to overbooked, then understand the riches are in the niches. Start to specialize so that you could really expand and grow much further faster. So there's another example. I attended an event. It was called Influencer Summit by Brendan Burchard. And here at this event, Natalie Hodson was one of the speakers. And every speaker at the Influencer Summit was making over $1 million a year in their influencer business. And what Natalie shared is she was a fitness educator, and she was a fitness blogger, fitness influencer. She really wanted to document her journey of fitness and like health and nutrition. And as a mother, she just blogging on her journey, and she collected a growing audience of fans who could resonate with her and really enjoyed her message. And one day she was speaking on TV, and she was doing a fitness demonstration on like broadcast public television, and where she ended up having an accident because she just had a child and everything wasn't really working well, and she wasn't able to hold her bladder as well. Common problem that women have, but she made this mistake on publicly, and it went everywhere, and it was embarrassing. But being the wise business owner that she is, she ended up partnering with another specialist who focuses on women's physiology. This is a doctor who knows, one, how to fix Natalie's problem, but Natalie's not the expert on addressing that particular issue. So she was able to associate or partner with someone who has the expertise, who has a specialty, who has the knowledge. And Natalie was able to bring her marketing mind, and they packaged a book. They sold it for $37, and they made over $1 million selling their book online. And this is a very specific solution for a very specific person, right? And is this book designed for young women who have never had children? No, it's not going to be for them. Not only did Natalie have that accident, but she turned her mess into a message by running Facebook ads to that video clip where she was in front of everyone and had that accident. And that was a hook that grabbed the attention. Now, I'm a male, I'm a business owner. Do you think I ever saw that ad outside of her talk? Did Facebook ever target me with those ads? No, because I'm not her target audience. And she has a very specific audience and a very specific niche that she is serving. And with this program, and she's able to make this mistake or this pain, that source of her shame became the source of her fame. And in the strategic partnership, another lesson you can learn is that you can borrow other people's specialty to build your specialty. You could borrow their expertise to build your expertise. You could borrow their credibility to build your credibility. And in this book, she was able to partner with someone who has the knowledge, the credibility, the experience, and package together a program or a book that they're able to build a multi-million-dollar business on the back of. So she was able to be that mentor she wished she had when she was having that health challenge. And it's a really powerful strategy that you could do. You could also do that on interviews when you don't just have to publish a book. And in fact, if you are interested, a book is one of the best ways for you to differentiate yourself and to stand out from a crowded market, because I believe as an author, you have what I call an author's advantage. Have you ever noticed that the root word of author and the root word of authority is the word author? Because those who write books are automatically seen as a credible, legitimate authority on that topic. So when you write a book, you're able to, that's another great way to differentiate yourself from all the other competitors who are non-authors. So this is a good way to stand out in a crowded health market. And contrary to popular belief, writing a book doesn't have to be this grueling, difficult, long process that takes you away from a lot of your business. In fact, what we do is we have a 4-day book publishing system that we help health educators to write, to publish, and launch either their first or next book to #1 bestseller within 60 days. And we've been able to help people to grab the knowledge, package the health knowledge you already have or can quickly acquire, and package it into a book and launch it to bestseller within 60 days. So if you're interested in publishing a book, then comment book down below, and we could talk about ways that we could do that. Natalie was able to do this. She's leveraging. Notice how she's writing a book with an expert. You could do this with interviews. You can interview experts on your fields. If you have a health challenge that you want to learn more about, that you have a problem that you want to grow or you want to better understand, one of the best ways that you can get paid, you can earn while you learn, you can get paid to create your programs, is by learning to interview mentors and extract from them what they did, what was their journey, and how did they get these what advice would they share. And if you host these guests, experts on your platform, then you're creating what I would call a reporter's platform. And I'll give you an example. There's 2 types of experts that you could be. #1, you could be a results expert. So when I had a heart attack when I was 12, and I found out that I was borderline diabetic, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. I already knew I was morbidly obese and severely depressed. But through this, because there was one man with a health message who learned how to monetize his health knowledge, he packaged his health knowledge into a book and sold my mother his program. Then she was able to, when I was 12 years old, and I'm like, something's got to change. Mom, what do I do? She grabs his book and the knowledge that she learned from this man, the late Hans Steele, and was able to share with me these principles that I was able to lose 50 pounds in 3 months. And I stopped eating, I haven't touched a soda since I was 12, and I stopped eating donuts. There's a lot of things that I learned, and I transitioned my lifestyle and exercise and moved that I was able to lose the weight, and I kept it off. So that's a result that I have that other people would be interested in. It's a result like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, obesity, these pre-diabetes. These are things that are rampant. And that opened the doors for me when I was 17 to go share my health message or go share my testimony. People are like, you had a heart attack when you were 12? Tell me more about that. What is going on? And then that would open the doors for me to speak at events and at different locations, online and offline, and travel the nation to be able to share my journey and my story, and people would come to me. So that could be a form of results expert. If you have any results that may be of interest to someone, then that's one type of expert. But the second type of expert is also extremely effective, and that's what I would call a reporter expert. The reporter expert is different, where you don't have to be the knowledgeable one. You can borrow the knowledge to build your knowledge. I'll give you an example. Let's say that I am in my 30s. I'm 29, but let's say that I'm in my 30s and I'm going to create a program that is it's geared for helping baby boomers over the age of 60 to learn how to start getting into the best shape of their life, to start taking care of their fitness and move and become flexible, have strong bones, strong muscles, strong endurance. And I'm going to create a program teaching baby boomers how to be elite athletes. Like, I'm talking about ultra marathons that are triathlons, Ironmans, being able to do extreme fitness like climbing Mount Everest or the tallest peaks around the world in their 60s. And I'm going to create a program like that. Now, I'm not in my 60s. I've never climbed these massive mountains. I'm not an elite athlete doing ultra marathons by any stretch of the term. Now, how many of you would be interested in buying my program if you fit that demographics? Anyone? Really? So at an event, it's usually where I hear some crickets, right? But what if I told you that I went through and I found some of the most amazing baby boomers who, like this man, Yuichiro Miura, who at age 80 years old, he climbs Mount Everest. He's climbed Mount Everest 3 times in his later years of life. I've found people in their 60s who are doing ultra marathons, and I interviewed these elite athletes who started their athletic journey in their later years of life after the age 60. And I interviewed over 100 different athletes. And I asked them, what are the biggest mistakes that people make that keeps them from moving and having the body that they'd like in their later years? Or what did you do? Why did you get started? What advice would you give to someone who is older and wants to move and stay healthy and have a clear mind and have a functional body that is like peak performance even as they're getting older? And I found 100 people were in better shape in their 60s, 70s, and 80s than they were in their 20s or 30s. And I interviewed, I'm saying, how did you get like that? What did you do differently that allowed you to be able to accomplish these incredible feats? And I interviewed these people, and I recorded all of them, and I distilled what were the common practices. And I realized that there was 5 main things that all 100 had in common. There's 5 patterns that I recognized that without exception, all of the athletes over 60 that are thriving physically, mentally, they have these 5 things in common. And I'm going to do a special training, a bonus deep diving on those 5 points with examples. And I've even highlighted the best interviews, the best clips from those 100 interviews, and I put them together so you don't have to go through all the effort and energy I put through there. And now I'm going to package some of the best interviews and my analysis of like the master framework that all 5 have in common. And then I package that into a program and I sold that. Now how many people would be interested in buying my program? Absolutely, because that is amazing. But what didn't change was I'm still not that age. I'm still not climbed those mountains. I still haven't, not an elite athlete, but by taking the reporter approach, there is value in curating. There's value. You can borrow their audience as you build your audience. You can borrow anything that you lack in resources, whether it's time, knowledge, audience, credibility, the expertise. anything you lack in resources, you can always make up and leverage. You can leverage other people's knowledge, other people's talents, other people's audiences, other people's stories, and you can share these things that you can borrow their story as you build your story. So you see that there is value in reporting. There's tremendous value, and you can build a highly profitable business reporting on the lessons from these interviews, and it's free. Many of these people are actually quite simple to interview. Most people who wrote a book, if they wrote a book on a topic, then they're waiting for opportunities. They must geek out on this topic, and that's their jam, that they like it, and they are waiting for opportunities to talk about their topic of expertise and passion. And by you reaching out to them, say, hey, I would like to interview you on my podcast. Would you be open to it? Most of the times they say yes. They don't even ask how many people are on your podcast. They're just like, yeah, I'd love to. And say, I love your book. I've read it. I've really enjoyed it. Take your favorite authors. Take your favorite mentors, those who inspire you, that you've learned the most. And you're like, wow, I wish I could just have access. And you can have virtually unlimited access to highly successful mentors to learn the area of your expertise that you desire to step into. And by having a reporter's platform that I talk about in my book on high ticket health coaching, and interviewing these people, and you can gain experience that way. And you're adding tremendous value to your target audience, your ideal clients. And the story that I gave is not just hypothetical or fictional, it actually happened. In fact, that's exactly what Tony Robbins did. When he was younger, he would see people as they're aging, it really looks like they're aging, or they act like they're aging. Their memory starts deteriorating. And they're like, I don't want to do that. And Tony was thinking, well, when I get 60, 70, I want my health to be improving, not declining. I want to be at peak performance when I'm older. So he went on a journey to solve his problem, and he went and he interviewed 100 of these elite athletes who started their journey after the age of 60, and he found patterns. He packaged it into a health program, sold it, and made over $1 million with these interviews. And it's as simple as that. And that was to solve his problem. So there's so many ways that you can actually get paid to learn your expertise, to learn your specialized knowledge that you can quickly acquire. And you can get decades of their experience packed into days or hours with these interviews. And not only that, even his latest book, Life Force. Now, I got this in the mail, and Tony Robbins takes this reporter's approach again, because if you look at the back of the cover, I thought it was interesting. It says, Life Force is the result of interviews with more than 100 of the world's top medical pioneers. This shows that, the thing about Tony is he's overcome cancer. He's overcome he defied diagnosis that they said were incurable, that there's no way you could reverse them, and he did. He's helped thousands of people to also defy their diagnosis, and he's got like the peak performance in his 60s of like a professional athlete. The amount of calories, and studies have been done that the amount of fitness required for him to work what he does is also like equivalent to the amount of calories and energy exerted and the performance required for a professional football player who's in a Super Bowl game. But he has results that he could share from his experience. But even with these results, he still takes the reporter approach. He still is emphasizing 100 of the world's top medical pioneers, because he realizes, even as a multi-billionaire and with the place that he's at in his business, this isn't just for people who are getting started and don't have the knowledge, don't have the tools yet, don't have the strategies and stories yet. This is also for people who have a large audience, who have a large business, who have strategies. Being able to report on mentors, to interview experts in your field will help you with continued education, will help you to sharpen your tool set, to be able to stay on top of mind. And it positions you as an authority on that subject, because now you're seen back to back to back interviewing and having conversations with a lot of these top authorities. And so this is a very powerful way for you to break through in a crowded market. And so there's the reporter approach. And others, sometimes people are like, well, I don't really have the result yet. Maybe you want to lose weight and you're like, I'm still not the weight that I'd like to be. Or maybe you want to help people to overcome diabetes and you're like, well, I haven't fully overcame diabetes yet, but I want to. You don't really have to wait in order to get there. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. There's a concept that Gary Vee talks about, and he says, document, don't create. That's this concept where instead of thinking about creating content, instead of like saying this is how to build or like how to lose weight, say this is how I am losing weight. This is what I'm doing to lose weight. Like document your journey, document your discoveries, and you tell people, look, I realize like this is exactly what Joe Cross did. He wrote a book, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. He's like, I realize I'm fat, I'm sick, and I'm nearly dead. If something doesn't change, this isn't going to last very long. And he's like, follow me on my journey as I discover through a plant-based diet and getting concentrated nutrition how to change my life. And this book he published a book that landed him a best-selling documentary. And because of this documentary, how many of you have seen the documentary Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead? Type documentary in the chat if you have. And if not, it's a powerful documentary. But now, because of this, he gets paid big money to speak on stages. He's high in-demand health authority, and he has coaching programs, and he's made millions in affiliate revenue as an affiliate selling other people's products. And what's really powerful about this is, like, he's not a health expert. He's coming from a lawyer background. He was a lawyer. So this is how this average Joe was able to build a multi-million-dollar business when he was fat, sick, and nearly dead, but by learning how to document the process, learning discoveries. He would interview some health experts who talk about, he would be open about his medical numbers and what his challenges are and his setbacks, his joys, his journey, what's working, what's not working. And you can do this too. So instead of like positioning yourself as like, I'm someone who has arrived, if you haven't arrived yet, that's fine. If you haven't built the muscle you desire, if you haven't got like improved your memory that you wanted, or if you haven't lost the weight that you want yet, you don't have to wait to get there. You can document your discoveries. You can document your journey. You just say, hey, I am going to be investing in myself. I'm not happy with where I'm at. I'm going to this journey of losing weight. I want you to follow me on this journey, and I'll share with you what I'm learning and who I'm learning from, and I'm going to be interviewing people who are experts in their field that could give some suggestions and tips and tools, and you could just follow me on this journey as I go on this path. And the reality is, every business is helping people to go from, like, they have a problem, and this is where they are. There's a gap between where they are and where they want to be. And your framework, your business, your programs, they bridge the gap. And so what is really powerful about this is you don't have to get to the top of the scale, the mountain of achievement before you start helping other people. Even if you're on the journey, even if you're 3-4 steps ahead of your ideal clients, if you're like teaching a younger version of you, like, what can you share with yourself 5 years ago that would have radically transformed your life if you knew? And if you think of it that way, then it becomes so much more easier and authentic. You're not teaching people who are 20 steps ahead, or you're not, you're just a few steps ahead, and you're being that mentor. Because honestly, many people would rather learn from someone who's 3-4 steps ahead than someone who's 30 or 40 steps ahead, or 30 or 40 years ago they were where your ideal client is, because they feel so detached. You're like, that person doesn't understand me. They're not like me. They don't know what I'm going through. But if you're right there in the midst and you're documenting your journey and you're describing what you're doing and what's not, people aren't looking for a leader that's always right and that's perfect. They're looking for a leader that is always real, that's making progress. And when you can understand this, it opens the floodgates of being able to build a business while you're on that road to recovery. And then also the reality is too, it's like, does a doctor have to have diabetes in order to help diabetics to overcome their diabetes? No. And do I have to lose weight in order to help someone who wants to lose weight and give them principles? No. I've been like, as a mechanic, when I was working at a mechanic shop, do I need to have a broke down van in order to help someone to fix their van? Or do I need to have a old clutch in order to replace someone else's clutch? No, I don't. So in so many different professions, you don't need that problem in order for you to help people to solve that problem. So sometimes when people are picking a profitable problem, they're like, well, it's like, I haven't done that. It's okay. Go interview people who had that problem and let them relate to your story. I mean, your audience, your ideal clients, and tell stories that your ideal clients can relate to. It don't have to be about you. They could be about other people that your ideal clients can relate to, but pick one profitable problem for one profitable person and solve it through one profitable program. And when you're getting started, if you focus on the one and you nail it, then you can scale it. This is some of the keys of standing out in a crowded market. And if you're interested in understanding more marketing tips like this, I would highly recommend that you grab a copy of my book on high ticket health coaching. As you can see it on the screen, this book is designed to help you to get your message out, packaged, and into serving the people that you're called to serve. In my book, I talk about how marketing is bringing your message to the masses. If you desire to take your health message to the masses so you can make a difference in the lives of people you're called to serve, then grab a copy of my book, highincomehealthexpert.com/book, or comment book down below, and we'll gladly send you a link. But hopefully this has been helpful. I look forward to hearing from you again. And remember, friends, subscribe. And and remember that God doesn't call a qualified, He qualifies a called. Have a great day, and God bless.